may be the big city attitude, it may be the fact they have a huge population to choose from, but when Dublin fans come to Croke Park, they expect to win. Recently, of course, that hasn't always been the way. And this sports magazine is a comment line that sums up the mood.
They are bare oil times indeed. Dublin's success has now become a rare commodity. The pressure is on the management team from the supporters and the southern media. One journalist, however, believes that's part of the problem. Kevin Nolan is the brains behind the website hill16.ie. He likes to sit among the fans. It's not practical to report from the actual hill, but he updates Dubs worldwide and insists on being positive.
You know, we'd be encouraging people to get behind the Dublin team and support the Dublin team more. It's the easiest thing in the world is to just throw abuse at people and to criticise them, when it's more constructive, I think, to encourage and obviously people can point out aspects of the play which they don't agree with or whatever. But certainly no, the attitude wouldn't be to knock the lads, you know.
It's the supportive talk Tommy Carr wants to hear. As Dublin manager, he's living life on the edge.
Expect a lot from you. Do you think you can deliver this year?
Well, we want to deliver for ourselves, our family, especially Tommy Carr and the backroom staff. They've been soldiering there for 4 or 5 years, thankless job. But you know, they've stuck with it. They could have walked last year, but they want to see it out. The team is there. It's just a matter if they get it and really believe in themselves. We can go an awful long way.
We know those lads on the hill, they've been at every championship match just itching us to win, and we've let them down on a number of occasions, but it's not for the want of trying. Hopefully we'll get it right this year and we'll give them the success that they duly deserve.
Are you confident you could do that?
No question. Like, we know we're the hungriest team in the country. There's no other team that's as hungry as us for success. We've had so many disappointments the last few years and everyone has written us off. This is our year and we want to go out and prove that it is.
The nucleus of the team is much the same as what lost to Kildare last year. We crumbled against Kildare last year, and I don't think there's enough new talent being unearthed in the interim now for them to go on and win a Leinster final or challenge for the Sam this year. I think there's too many good teams out there that are ahead of Dublin.
I expect the Dublin team to win the Leinster title this year. Whether they can go any further or not, well, it depends on how they play on the day.
I think they're quite poor, actually, I must say. I don't think they'll go very far, to be honest with you. I think they're struggling hard. Didn't think they played well today, but sure, maybe another day.
I think, you know, there's always pressure from fans. I think the fact that the media is based here in Dublin always adds to that pressure. But basically, I think, you know, the pressure comes from ourselves that we have put so much into this, put so much work into it. And it's our necessity to win, or our will to win, or want to win, and it's our hunger to get there, I think, is the biggest pressure, and that's the way it should be.
Whenever you watch Dublin play, the pace is such that you need time to reflect on what you've seen. And I think it's fair to say this Dublin team, like the Hogan stand, isn't quite the finished article.
It's not often I agree with you, but I agree with you there.
Yes, I actually think, having watched them, you know, I can't see Dublin beating either Kildare or Meath. They seem to be lacking. I actually think the fans got it right. They are lacking something at the moment, whether it's a spine through the team or whatever. Would you agree, Ger? There's definitely something missing.
Well, I think they haven't unearthed any talent. They've young Wayne McCarthy in, who still looks he still looks very young, very, very weak. They don't seem to have any system of play, and I think, you know, they rely heavily on Ian Robertson to get the ball around the square, but they just don't have the depth.
You know, you talk about the depth. Vinnie Murphy, is that not a step back in time? Is that the wrong thing, Damien?
Well, I would consider so, but I mean, you have to look at the Dublin, the setup, the number of clubs by comparison to Armagh or Derry, for example. I mean, it's phenomenal the number of players and the pool of players they have to pick from. I'm quite surprised, actually, that they can't unearth new talent. And, you know, the level of expectation is big, but I mean, the talent has to be in Dublin.
Well, they should have been able to actually unearth new talent, as you say, with the population they have. They were lucky to get the goal that Robertson got there that you've just seen. Now, had Offaly actually taken the points here instead of going for goals, Offaly actually could have beaten Dublin. And you mentioned Vinnie Murphy. Vinnie Murphy actually lifted them. We're going to see in a moment Vinnie's point. Now, watch this for a catch and a score.
Yeah, it's a great score, okay. But you not agree at the same time? I think Leinster's poor.
I think it's very mediocre at the minute. I mean, I think all four of us here could pick for a different team to win Leinster this year. I just think there's a degree of mediocrity within Leinster. But I think, you know, fair play to Tommy Kerr. I think people are pensioned off too much too early. I think Vinnie Murphy did a job for Dublin. He knows the role he has to play. He knows he's going to play 15-20 minutes, as he said. And, you know, he's a great physical athlete. And he lifted the crowd, you know, and the whole carry on when he came on the field with Cathal Daly. And when that lifted
in 3 seconds.
He was booked in 3 seconds, but at the same time, it lifted the crowd, it visibly lifted Dublin. And Vinnie likes that. Vinnie likes the personal contact. And whatever.
Damien, if you move from Dublin now, if we go to Munster now, are Kerry the article, are they the team to beat again this year?
Well, you have to say reigning champions, of course they are, and they haven't changed. And I mean, I think they can up it a gear whenever they want to. You know, amazingly, they're still going to come through a route where they're not really tested a Munster final. But I mean, I was a great admirer last year. Their athleticism and the quality that runs through the team. We're just looking probably at Mike Frank Russell there, and phenomenal player, probably player of the championship last year in terms of forwards, certainly.
But whenever you take a look at them too, you know, they beat Limerick. Okay, Limerick have done well on their age level, but like most teams in Ulster would expect to beat Limerick.
I think the victory against Limerick, Adrian, wasn't a big thing. You know, I think Kerry have what a lot of other teams don't have. They've 6 scoring forwards, and they've got a really solid midfield, and then defensive quality with Seamus Moynihan in there. You have young McCarthy, all solid players. I think they're head and shoulders above anything else that's in Ireland at present.
Now, Mike can take his chances, as you can see. Now, we think they have a chance. Dublin have no chance. Who else are the players?
Well, there aren't that many teams actually in Ireland who I think can win the Sam Maguire. Kerry's one of them. Tyrone's one of them for me. Galway possibly. But not Dublin or Kildare, but I would possibly think Meath could be in there.
But you think Armagh can come back too?
I certainly think Armagh have a chance. You know, I think obviously they were upset by the defeat and the manner of the defeat in the Tyrone game. They're happy enough in Armagh with the draw that they have in the next round, and I think the players are more focused now. But I think I also would throw Mayo into the hat.
Very briefly about Derry. 10 seconds.
Well, Derry, they're having a chance. I mean, that was the realisation after...
Say what you mean.
After last Sunday, realistically, they're not going to get through the qualifying section. Okay. I still would have reservations about Armagh, though.
OK, Damien. Jared, later on we'll hear from you. Well, as well as the views of the panel, we want to hear from you, the fans. You can contact us on our website, but now a change of direction. We focus on Ulster in the semi-final meeting,